Welcome to another episode of Stocks to Watch for exclusive one-on-one discussions with company leaders to help you make informed investment decisions. I'm Ashley Berry, and today we're very excited to welcome Jeremy Poirier, Chief Executive Officer of European Energy Metals Corp, a junior mining company that specializes in exploring lithium and rare earth elements with several promising projects in Finland. They're listed on the TSXV as FIN, trading over the counter in the US as EUEMF, and on the Frankfurt Exchange as W28. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thanks for having me, Ashley.
Yes, well, it's great to have you. So I'd like to begin with the leadership team's track record in this sector of lithium and rare earth exploration. Where specifically, and why do you see a clear opportunity in Finland?
Yeah, actually, so my background, I've been in lithium for about 8 or 9 years now, and I've had a couple of successful exits. Most recently, our project in Chile that we actually were involved in putting $60 million into, sold to Codelco, which is one of the world's largest copper companies, for over 200 million US. And before that, we had a project in Nevada. It was called Pure Energy Minerals. It was right next to Albemarle, which is the only producing lithium mine in North America currently in the United States. And that project sold to Schlumberger, and before that, we actually had an agreement in place with Tesla. So very familiar with the space and had a couple of exits. This one, for me, what was really attractive is that there's a lot of projects now in North America, whereas in Europe, there's not quite as many, and they actually have over 35 battery factories or gigafactories, some may call them, that are currently being built, completed, or under construction, and all with large multinational companies. And then when you look at Finland specifically, right next to us, there's actually a mine that's being built. It's called Calibre, and it's owned by Sibanye, which is a New York Stock Exchange listed company, and they're spending over 600 million euro on the mine, and it's slated to begin production in the back half of 2025, and it's a long life asset. So the geology looks similar on our project for what they have. I think when you put all that together, it becomes really, really interesting. And I think you should always also throw in the fact that Europe's come out and said, look, we want to source 30% of our critical minerals from the EU region. And that would include lithium. There's not a lot of places to do that in Europe. So again, I see that as a tremendous opportunity compared to some of our peers.
Yeah, certainly a successful track record, Jeremy. As you oversee 5 projects in Finland, could you briefly describe how these projects set European Energy Metals apart from other companies and highlight any significant recent discoveries?
Yeah, so we do have several different plots of lands as your reservations, they call them in Finland. But really, we have the central Finland claims and the northern Finland claims. And yes, there's different. There's Nava, Lapajärvi, east and west, and Catalia. But we prefer to keep it to central Finland and northern Finland. We haven't done any work on our northern Finland projects. But we did just wrap up an extensive exploration program on the central Finland, specifically our Nava concession, which is the most northern concession. And we actually had a spodumene discovery. And spodumene essentially is lithium, and some of it grading close to 4%. So really, really excited about that. Did not expect to discover that in our first go around here. And it looks like we have some really interesting drilling targets. So we filed for our exploration permits. And we will, once we receive those, we'll roll out a drill program and hopefully have something really, really, really exciting to show the market.
So among lithium, cesium, and tantalum, which mineral is currently a priority for your projects and why?
It's definitely lithium. I mean, some of the other minerals just sort of go along with lithium, but yeah, our focus is lithium. It's hard to say, if you'd have credits for rare earths or, if you certainly found, some significant rare earths there, that would be great. And they do exist there, but our main focus is definitely lithium.
And let's talk a little bit about lithium and the significance of it for those that may not be familiar with just how important it is for our use.
Yeah, I think when you look at lithium, it's really key in this low carbon or exiting this fossil fuel era that all the governments are working towards. And you're going to need batteries. And I often hear things like, oh well, what about some of this battery or that battery? if you look at a periodic table, you go hydrogen, helium, and lithium. It's the lightest metal, holds the highest charge. So anything that's moving, so our cell phones, our laptops, anything that sort of has to go away from the outlet, it's going to be lithium, at least for the foreseeable future. So we obviously all know that the demand for those devices is going up, and really we've hit a tipping point here for electric vehicles, right? I mean, they are now at a point where they're going to continue to grow, and that has a massive demand for lithium-ion batteries. And then if you look at battery storage, like a lot of people are looking at solar now, they're looking at wind, and how do you store that power when it's at night when you don't have the sun? So really, lithium is probably the most important element in this transition. And so, I think the future outlook continues to be very bright.
Thanks. I appreciate that. How do you perceive the transition to clean energy in Europe compared to the trends in North America? You touched a little bit on this as far as Europe is concerned, but particularly in the context of policy influence.
Yeah, again, I'm here in North America. I know you are as well. We sort of tend to think that we're the center of the universe on a lot of things, and we're certainly full steam ahead on our gigafactory battery factory sort of movement. But Europe's even further ahead. Like, they have more battery factories under construction. They have, Canada just announced its first one, for example. I think the Europeans, they're further ahead of where we are here in North America. They're full steam ahead. As I said, over 35 gigafactories under construction or permitted, all with large multinational companies. And I think more importantly, they've said that 30% of their critical minerals need to be sourced from Europe, and there's just not a lot of mining in Europe. So we think we can be part of that supply chain.
Fantastic. So, in sort of aligned with that, can you outline your concrete strategic plans for 2024 and the following years?
Yeah, absolutely. We've completed this exploration program. We have a discovery. We have a lithium discovery on our project. We need to get the permits, which we filed for. We expect to get those sometime in Q1. We've had excellent meetings with the government and the landowners. And then after that, we'll be rolling out a drill program. And then after that, hopefully we can define a significant resource that looks like it's there. And then I think at that point, it becomes very interesting to potentially some much larger companies than ourselves.
So what are the main aspects that distinguish European Energy Metals as a strategic metals player at this juncture, and why should investors keep an eye on your company?
I think one of the biggest things is we're only a 10 million market cap, and our comparables are anywhere from 150 to 400 million. So I think as this information rolls out, as we do more interviews like this, as we talk about the story, I think we'll move significantly higher. So I think that's a big one. Then I think, there's not a lot of projects in Europe where I said that they're short on supply of critical minerals, including lithium. And we're right next to a mine and it looks like we have similar geology to what they have. So you have excellent infrastructure as well. I'd say those are probably the most important aspects when you're taking a look at us.
What excites you the most about this work you're doing? I mean, you talked about some major milestones that you've reached even before working at this company. What gets you really excited about the whole lithium space?
I think to be part of this transition, and I'm sure we all hear about it when we turn on the TV, to be part of this energy transition, to be part of cleaning up the air and helping fight climate change, and making sure that future generations have the same opportunity that we have, is probably the biggest motivating factor for me.
Love that. Just taking care of future generations. And, I think a lot of our investors and millennials and Gen Zs would really appreciate that in watching this interview. Jeremy Poirier, Chief Executive Officer of European Energy Metals Corp. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your exciting story. We look forward to hearing updates from you coming up in 2024. Have a great day. Thanks, Jeremy.
You too. Thanks, Ashley.